I'm not gonna throw around the M word too casually today, since some of you might be a little anxious to get your opinions out. I like Chainsaw Man so far. As of now, there's only 6 episodes out, but over the past 6 weeks, something about the show just feels kinda off. To be honest, I don't think that Chainsaw Man is worth the hype. It has nothing to do with the animation. I personally think it's just the overall vibe the show gave off before and during its release. I think the expectations started when the first trailer released. Manga readers that I know were rejoicing that this masterpiece was gonna get an anime adaptation. So then I was like, hey, let me keep this on my radar. Especially since there was buzz online too. I purposely avoided any synopses, TikToks, manga panels, and YouTube videos just to make sure what I was seeing was fresh and could be somewhat objective about it when the show did come out. And on October 11th, we got our first episode. I think that the pilot was a really strong episode. Visually, the animation was really good, the overall presentation of Denji, Puchita, and the Chainsaw Devil form was really cool. One of the things that I condemned Mappa for in Attack on Titan Season 4 was the rotoscoping, but it worked surprisingly well along with the CGI. It doesn't look like shit. Plot-wise, it was a really well-paced episode, and I liked how we got all we needed to know about Denji within the pilot, and it's not a lot to be honest. Yeah. After that, we're left on a good stopping point, and boom, that is episode 1. I think that the series kind of slows down after that. Denji's main goal is to touch boobs, and we get that within the 3rd episode, and that's where the show kind of turned me off. Like, why does he achieve his goals so early into the series? I get that he's supposed to be one of those one-dimensional characters that every man's man is going to relate to, but personally, I'm not feeling it. Some of you right now are like, oh, his new goal is to be with Makima and touch her boobs now. But then, it's the exact same process. So even if it's Makima or Power or Aki he's trying to touch, it's not out of the realm of possibility for him. Denji's goalpost is much closer to him than someone like Yuji or Naruto or even Luffy, who have clear goals, but the road to their goals seems so far into the future that you're forced to focus on smaller victories that each character has. Take Mob from Mob Psycho 100, a simple character whose motivation is to be a normal middle schooler. Completely one-dimensional, but the reason why Mob works is because of how his relatability has practicality. I know in my ratings video I jokingly gave Denji an A without knowing who he was, but he's realistically a C. I'm not saying all characters have to be super serious with unbreakable convictions, but it's hard to take a character seriously when you're not mature as a person. Going back to Mob, he takes himself seriously, and what, Denji wants basic human rights? Get that shit out of my. As I'm watching this show, the fan base across all social media platforms that I'm on have been going crazy over it. All sorts of cosplays, memes, fan arts is expected when a show reaches a wide audience, especially as big as Chainsaw Man. But do all these factors morph an image of a show? Yes. Yes, they do. The show is overall reminiscent of Jujutsu Kaisen, and I think that's just because of the animation studio. And even though the shows are similar, Chainsaw Man feels like the silly little brother of Jujutsu Kaisen. I think that Jujutsu Kaisen is a better series than Chainsaw Man right now, and that's not outlandish to say.
You calm the fuck down!
People online were presenting this as a series I should be taking 100% serious, and that this is one of the most prolific pieces of media ever made in 2022. And to be quite honest, it's not. Part of this is my fault, right? I went in with expectations at peak, molded by the echoes of others, and was met with indifference. But it's not all my fault. I'm sure people who hopped on the Chainsaw Man train as soon as it came out were like, oh, this is peak fiction, this is the best new gen, I love Power and Denji, I wouldn't be like them. And that made it seem like it is some of the best fiction ever made. And I guess it's on me for listening to people online. Like, look at the average sager, man. Like if this looks like you. The animation is something that I like a lot. It fits the show's aesthetic, but it doesn't fit the plot to me. Like, Mappa animates dark, gory, desaturated scenes, which is the overall vibe of the show. But then the plot is silly, haha, Denji likes boobs, Lamau. Okay, stay with me here. I was thinking, what if Studio Bones animated the show? How would that look like? I was thinking, would that help make the show a bit more presentable? I'm not saying dumb the show down, but a different style would convey a different message, such as silly loose animation equals silly plot. but in that way it can still be taken seriously by the content that's being animated. But most of you only heard and only like Mappa because they animated your favorite shit show. I don't think Chainsaw Man is a bad show, okay? Don't take this video out of context. I do not think it's a bad show. I think it is an enjoyable series that just simply was overhyped. With the packed lineup for this fall, it fell down on my excitement list for the season to number 3. My Hero and Bleach are tied for first, man, cause them boys are cooking. As I mentioned before, there are only 6 episodes out right now, so in another 6 weeks, I will come back to the series and share my opinions about the whole season. There isn't anything wrong with the animation, and to be quite frank, I think that's the main thing keeping me watching Chainsaw Man right now. And there was a lot of things that I thought of that I'm gonna keep for the next video that I didn't want to put in this script. But yeah, as of now, I will not call Chainsaw Man mid. But what I will say is, Denji and Power are definitely the stinky kids at school. Like, look at them. They both fucking stink.